Hello and welcome to another lesson on soundproofing and room acoustics. Today I'm excited to show you one of our latest studio designs that we've recently finished that is going to be going into build mode, and this is going to be teaching you how to build a professional home recording studio in your backyard. This studio has both an amazing control room and an amazing live room and even a kitchenette and a bathroom. So if you want to go to this quality of high level, this is the type of design that we love to work on. So without further ado, I want to jump in. Before we do that, I just want to let you know that I'm Wilson Harwood. For those of you that are new here, I am a studio designer and acoustician based in Nashville, Tennessee, and I do soundproof rooms all over the world as well. And I also have a free resource for you. This is my free soundproofing workshop. It is 30 minutes of in-depth teaching going over how to build a soundproof room either in your garage, your basement, or your backyard. To watch that, you can just go to soundproofyourstudio.com/workshop. All right, let's jump into this really interesting lesson on how to build a professional soundproof recording studio in your backyard. All right, everybody. So here is our set of plans here. I'm going to take you through a full set of plans that we do for our clients to kind of give you an idea of how to build a studio. A lot of times I walk through in 3D on the model that we do on SketchUp, which I might do some of that today, but I wanted to really kind of show you guys a full set of plans so you kind of understand what is going on here with that. So to start off with, we always start with our A1.1 sound isolation plan. And I'm going to be really careful here not to show any personal information on this plan. So I've got it kind of zoomed in, but we always start with our floor plan. So here you can see that we've got a nice big control room here. This is the larger space of the studio. And then we've got the kitchen entryway, the bathroom, and the live room here. You can see all these crazy diagrams here. This is our schedule notes showing that we have a control room window right here. We've got our soundproof ISO store doors right here and one right here with the swings opening. You can see all the acoustic panels on the walls, our bass traps, some amps, a drum set, just to give some idea of the space. And then we have our main door over here, and then a little window in the kitchen entryway as well. So that gives you a good idea of the overall plan looking down in our plan view. And then we also like to do these cool perspective shots that are kind of cool you can do in SketchUp. And you can just see just the general layout of this from a plan perspective view. And then we just have some general elevations here showing the north, south, east, and west side of this project, just so that the builders know exactly how tall to make this, and they can also get the general layout for the slab and things like that with the plan view here. We do our ceiling, wall, and floor type schedule as well, which is going to tell the builder exactly, okay, this wall is going to have this weird, 2 layers of 23/32 OSB on the outside, and then the interior isolation wall is going to have, the 1-inch air gap, the 2x4 stud wall, and we have interior wall. And then we talk about our floor, which is really just a concrete monolithic slab. We do a moisture barrier underlayment, and then a laminate or engineered hardwood flooring for pretty much all of our studios all over the world. It's pretty simple that way. Budget, you could even do an isolated slab for each room. So you could pour one slab for the live room, one slab for the control room, and one slab for your kitchen entryway and bathroom. Or even not do a slab for the kitchen entryway bathroom and just do a typical foundation with a wood deck flooring. That's all up to you. We kept it simple, just one big slab here. It's not going to be a big deal for the level of isolation needed in this studio. So let me go on to page 2 now. All right, so here you can see our ceiling plan. This is a really cool, just showing the perspective A and perspective B. We can see that the ceiling plan in the control room has this beautiful lifted ceiling right here. And then we can see here in the live room, we've got it flat, and you can start to see some of our, what I call chimneys, which are baffle boxes, are coming down through here. And you can, what's unique about this one is we've actually got a dehumidifying system in this studio, which I'm starting to put into our designs to really keep the humidity levels ideal. This one's going to be in Florida, so I want to make sure that we have the ability to dehumidify these rooms and keep them quiet at the same time. As we go down here, you can see that we've got an access point for the attic just to get up in here. And you'll see in our HVAC section that there's a ton of crazy materials going in here. You can see some of our joist work, dimensioning again. A lot of people, when they decide to work with us, always ask me, hey, are you sure that the contractor is going to know exactly what to do? And as you will see after watching this video, you're like, yes, the contractor will definitely know exactly how to build everything here. We're going to have our roof design here, which I'm actually going to update this a little bit so that the 2 layers, we'll have 1 layer of OSB on the outside, 1 on the inside, and then the ESP on the inside here. And then we talk about, all the different design aspects of this ceiling design here. Because this is a standalone studio, we have the full roof plan here. So this is going to show you exactly, what type of joists you're using, the spacing of all the joists here. You can also see the roof rafters and placement. We've got a large LVL beam, which we've spec'd here according to the builder's needs. A lot of times I recommend clients use an engineer if there's any question to the loading of the building. And then so we have the elevation views as well for our roof plan. This is also a front porch here, so you can see that there's some of the distances for the front porch so that they know exactly how to build that. All right, so in this section, we just have another page for the roof since it's more detailed. You can see the front porch there. This would be pretty typical in any sort of construction drawing. Again, for those of you who are really looking at this, I am gonna review this with my designer and just flip some of the EPS and the 2330 seconds. This is a hot roof design, and what we wanna do is have the EPS on the inside in between the 2 layers of 2330 seconds OSB. So that's just the only thing we would change there. You can see there's a window here. This shows a cut through of exactly how the roof and the siding will come together. So super useful there as well. We show the roof pitch, all this information that would be really useful. And then the bonus here that a lot of designers won't do is we got these 3D diagrams here to show a 3D example of just how the whole roof and ceiling come together here. So really helpful for the builder to know how to do all this stuff. So the next thing we want to do here is just show the fire stops. And this is something that a lot of my clients don't think about and are maybe not that interested in, but whenever we have a double wall system, we really need to have fire stops. So this is the interior wall system shown here in 3D. And then the actual fire stop here just shows one of our designs for fire stops. We're always kind of tweaking this, but one we had was where we just have some drywall. This is rock wool here, and then an acoustic decoupling clip. What this is going to decouple the area between the double wall system here, but make it so fire can't spread from one bay to the next. In a double wall system to code, technically it's about 10 feet that you need a fire stop every 10 feet on the wall system. So that's what we're putting in here, and it kind of shows where these fire stops are and exactly how to build them here in 3D. Again, that's always kind of helpful to show the builder exactly what we're trying to do. That's kind of weird and not common in the building industry, which is always something we're working on with our designs is, hey, we're trying to make this as simple as possible for you and over design as much as we can with making it very clear, like, okay, this is how you're going to put these fire stops in. This is where they're going to go. And of course, when we're working with clients, we always give them 100%, access to us during the build process to see if they have questions, because it is pretty unique. All right, so the next section here we have is the building sections. So this is pretty standard in most sets of plans. We're going to show this control room here and the kitchen entryway and the floor plan again. And this is going to also show our building sections using these arrows or triangles there. But you can see we have our section west view showing some of the acoustic treatment here, and our acoustic clouds done by Alex McVeigh Acoustics. Shout out to him in Nashville. He's doing all of our acoustic clouds with the lighting and backlighting installed. You can start to see the crazy mechanical system that we've designed up in the attic. You can see that here. And then you can see, just some section views with all of the dimensioning to help the designer build this studio. Then it goes down to our next set of images. This is going to be a continuation of the building sections for a project of this nature, which is like a full from the ground up build with multiple rooms. It's basically a small house. We're going to do a lot more work than your average basement or garage studio. So this is going to show some more of those sections. Again, a really awesome aspect of designing in SketchUp is that you get these incredible 3D renderings that you can then put into your project. So that is kind of a unique, kind of fun thing that is not really done in like other programs like AutoCAD and Revit, although we do use AutoCAD for a lot of our designs here for a lot of the dimensioning. So you can see the windows and everything in here, and this nice section view as well, which is going to show you how we're doing our ceilings, which for those of you who are interested in seeing how this is all put together, we'll get into that detail stuff in a second here. I just want to kind of go through the plans one page at a time. Next, we finally get to our wall sections, the juicy nature of a lot of this soundproof studio building. And you can see here that, we got 16-inch on center studs in here, and then 24-inch on center there. And we're showing some of the dimensioning of the beams here as well. The studio room, this is all double wall design. So we have our exterior wall here and then our interior wall on the inside, and then we're using the Genie Clip RSTs on the ceiling for both the live room and the control room. And then we're putting OSB as the first layer and then 5/8-inch drywall as the second layer, and using just any sort of fluffy pink insulation, or any sort of fluffy insulation is fine. We usually recommend just something that's affordable. It doesn't have to be rock wool if you don't want it to be. So that's kind of the important part there. Alrighty, so yeah, just going through here, and you can see all the different dimensioning done for the builders in their sets of plans here, which will be really helpful. And moving on, we have our door plans. This is where a lot of people get tripped up, and contractors as well. So we really like to show them what we're doing with the door plans, and that's where these sections with like the rubber, we put 1/16-inch rubber all the way around across our double door system that covers up the air gap, and then we install the ISO store door frame on top of that rubber. The ISO store doors are awesome, really big fan of them. Someone asked recently if I get kickbacks from them. Nope, no kickbacks, just using their doors because they're affordable and we like them. And so we're speccing those into all of our plans now. They come with all the seals, the drop seal. It's really just plug in, play. You don't need to design your own custom door from scratch, which we've really moved away from. It's just not worth the time and effort on our side for designing, or for your side with telling a contractor to do that. It's just far too much work. So that's why we do all these meticulous construction notes for the ISO store door, and kind of showing through everything here, so that your contractor knows exactly what to do. For the windows, we're actually going to use the Soundproof Windows ink. We will do custom windows at time. We're kind of showing the same thing here, where we're putting the frame in, and we got the 16th-inch rubber going around the whole window. And we're going to use, this will show kind of the window diagram here of exactly the width, the rough opening, all that important stuff for your contractor, and then speccing out the Soundproof Windows ink, which if you go down here, this is just some of their information for how to install the Soundproof Windows ink windows, which we really like. Again, you guys can contact them if you like. And we think that their prices are definitely competitive and affordable, and it just makes life easier when you can install something that's custom, that's already been shipped and made, especially for your contractor. If you're doing this yourself, you can spend all the time you want, but we find that with Windows, we want to really, get something that's easy to install, and they just ship the glass and they ship you the framing as well, and you just install it into your rough opening. All right, so this is the electrical plan. I've zoomed in here just to show you guys just how crazy this is, but I wanted to go over some of this to show you what we do. So we have these audio only outlets, and that's where we're using our star grounding system, and we're doing a separate ground wire for all of those outlets. And we keep our electrical outlets at least 1 foot away from all our audio only outlets, which is always a good idea. We're going to be running some speaker cables. So we talk about, speaker cable connection that's going to the live room. We have normal gang outlets that are in red and denoted with a 2 gang or 4 gang sign. And we have examples of exactly where we're running everything for our ceiling clouds as well. We're using the wall cats a lot in a lot of these diagrams, which is running Ethernet over 2 XLRs, and it's pretty cool. I'll show you guys a little bit more about that in a second here. But we're running all of our XLR over Ethernet just to keep things really simple and clean, and honestly more affordable. So if you look over here, we've got a little diagram. Let me kind of pull this over, that shows exactly which Ethernet port is for which room and where they're routed, so that when your contractor is installing all this, or you're installing all this, you know exactly what's going to what, and it's all planned out ahead of time. And I find that that's super helpful in the field, just to know exactly what's going on. And we are using the Behringer PowerPlay system here. So this is going to be our foldback system, and we kind of threw that in. This is probably our go-to now. It's more affordable than some of the other ones, and it works just great. So if you're trying to do, a true recording studio pro level, you want to give everyone their own mix, and this allows you to do that. So I'd highly recommend checking this unit out and just learning a little bit more about it. We're probably, here's that Wallcat system I talked about, where we're just going to be plugging Ethernet into the back, and this gives you 4 XLRs, and you can do as many of these as you want. Putty pad your electrical, always a great idea when you're flush mounting in the wall, or if you're surface mounting, you don't need the putty pads. So just a good thing. And then we just have general notes about electrical here as well. And just for clarity, we do kind of over the top show just where all the electrical outlets are going to be placed on the walls. And what this allows you to do is just really see, with clarity, hey, this outlet needs to be at least 1 foot from this outlet. There's just a lot of information that needs to be done that shows, the idea that, hey, these things are important. We can't just, do what a normal house representation of outlets would be, because it's not standard. So the plans need to be more detailed than usual. And you can see here, we're labeling all the different outlets on the walls. A lot of these are actually surface mounted here, which is good to do in general, rather than flush mounted into the wall. So I wanted to break this video up into 2 parts, because that was a ton of information, and I'm sure some of you are like, whoa, my head is spinning. So definitely rewatch this. You'll learn a lot, and just kind of looking at how we do plans. If you're in the boat of watching this and you're like, wow, this is impressive and this would be really helpful, definitely reach out to us over a Soundproof clarity call. You can do that right away. Just go to soundproofingstudio.com. Click on I want some construction plans, and you can sign up for a 30-minute call with me directly, and I'd be happy to learn more about your project. Now, this may not be for everybody. Granted, we are moving up into a higher design firm. We are working on bigger projects, and really want to work with people who are serious about doing this right. But if you're wanting to DIY and you just need some subtle help along the way, I highly recommend checking out that free soundproofing workshop. It is going to help you tremendously. So just go to soundproofingstudio.com/workshop. That's soundproofingstudio.com/workshop. Again, my name is Wilson Harwood. I am an acoustician based in Nashville, Tennessee. And thank you all so much for watching this far. If you did, amazing, good on you. And I will see you guys next week, because I'm going to make part 2 of the same exact video and talk about the HVAC system and the acoustic system that we designed, and kind of finish out this whole project, because there was a lot we went over, and it's too much in one video. So I'll see you all next week with more information on that. Again, check out those free resources, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all later.